So a guy's best thing to talk about, circumcision.
Ooh.
So we'll go on to spiritual circumcision. That makes it a little easier, right?
Interesting title, huh?
So the main points for this lesson, number 5, on spiritual circumcision.
Well, often in these lessons, remember I told you at the beginning, we're focusing more on discipleship. So while I will transition back and forth from the inward work of God in your heart to the outward manifestation of that work, the good deeds, the action, the things that we need to be doing. So in order to do, we have to first become. In order to be doing something, we have to be being someone. Okay? And so spiritual circumcision is the process explained by God. I couldn't have came up with that. I wouldn't have come up with that. Is explained by God in His Word of cutting away the evil intents of the mind and the heart. Hebrew and Greek both refer to the word heart. What they mean is your mind, your inner being, not your organ. Only twice in the Old Testament is heart referred to as organ. The rest of the time it means the center and seat of life, of intellect, of volitional life, of all different facets of life. And so really the process is constant. Spiritual circumcision means that God is going to, by His Spirit, by His Word, by His people around you who are also filled with the Spirit, challenge you.
The Spirit, Word, people.
Yes. Spirit, Himself, His Word, and His people. He's going to challenge the thoughts and intents of your heart.
Cut.
He's going to cut. And so He describes it that way in Colossians chapter 2 and Romans chapter 2 towards the end. He talks about what circumcision is. And what you find is in the Old Testament, physical circumcision was a one-time deal, and it represented a covenant. In the New Testament, it's brought to a more spiritual element, not less real, but more internal, where circumcision is a constant thing. It's not a one-time deal. God's always going to try to better.
It seems harder almost, right? Like
it's harder.
And why is it that the physical one is easier?
Doesn't sound easier when you're thinking about pain, but it's a one-time deal.
Right.
The spiritual circumcision is constant, but it's a good conviction. It's God trying to build you up and make you better, even though it can get hard sometimes.
I don't know how we can do this because I think we've been trying to illustrate this point with marriage.
I think we can.
Go. I'm waiting for you. Go ahead.
One author said, and I can't remember who it was, that marriage is more about holiness than it is about happiness. And you are forced in a marriage with your spouse to be selfless. If you're selfish, it doesn't work as well. You are forced to put their needs ahead of your own, which cuts to the heart because we are by nature selfish. And so marriage itself is an illustration to an extent of spiritual circumcision because your wife or the husband may challenge and do things and force you to have to bring out the best in you by God's grace. So there's a process of circumcision, I think, there. Interesting concept, but it's a biblical thing.
It hurts, but it's good.
It hurts, but it helps.
It's good for you.
It hurts and helps and heals.
Say that again?
Spiritual circumcision hurts, helps, but ultimately heals you.
Good. That sounds good. And that's a great deal. This is all a part of the deal. So let's go on to the 6th lesson.